All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Last night, the National Football League attempted to showcase what is left of their once proud and distinguished Pro Bowl. Now, I will give the NFL the A for effort, but this game is now dead on arrival, folks. They don't even call it Pro Bowl anymore. It's Pro Bowl games, whatever you want to like refer to it. But nonetheless, nobody cares about the Pro Bowl anymore because the players stopped caring about it a long time ago. And to me, I feel like the NFL really hasn't done themselves any favors by going out there and tinkering with the sauce. In my opinion, the NFL should have never taken the Pro Bowl out of Hawaii. Okay. I think having the Pro Bowl in Hawaii gave some uniqueness to the game. But nonetheless, as always, the NFL is all about chasing ratings while also looking for a full stadium. Even though that the Pro Bowl at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu would give them regularly about 50,000 fans per game. Now, I've always said this that having the game in Hawaii was a reward for the players because it's one of those where, yes, Hawaii is part of the United States, but it's one of those that's still a little bit more difficult to get to as opposed to other states in the lower 48. But nonetheless, Hawaii has always seemed like, that luxurious destination spot for some people. I felt like that added to some of the uniqueness just having it there. But nonetheless, we know that the NFL cares more about games in Europe than they do in Hawaii. I mean, just look at how much time and resources that the league has been pouring into expanding their footprint overseas in Europe for about the last 15 years. Sack Fly, what's going on, my man? Happy Wednesday to you. You are saying my favorite topic, not caring about hand egg. It's all good, my man. But nonetheless, man, you ask yourself, should the NFL have put more money into renovating the now dilapidated Aloha Stadium? I'm going to say yes and no because from a nostalgic standpoint, I would have loved to have seen the game remain in Hawaii at Aloha Stadium. The stadium was falling apart, or is falling apart now. But nonetheless, it's one of those I don't see the National Football League going out of their way to invest money into a place where they're hardly going to be. I mean, sake of argument, it's one of those where if you're over in Hawaii, if you're the NFL, you're just going to have your All Star game there once a year. Whereas, they're looking to generate millions from going over to Europe, and they do. So I think that is where more of their focus is right now. You're asking, can that really work in Europe on a regular basis? Well, they're making it work because it's one of those where um, they typically get sellouts regardless of where they're at over in Europe for their games, whether it's England, Germany. Now they're looking at Spain and France. It's one of those where the National Football League is popular over in Europe, and I think that the NFL they're going to ride that until the brakes fall off because they're adding more games over in that continent. So yeah, it's going to happen. But nonetheless, we've seen the NFLs in regards to the Pro Bowl continuously move this thing around. They've moved the game because remember, once upon a time, the Pro Bowl was the Sunday after the Super Bowl. But about 15 years ago or so, give or take, the NFL decided to move it to the Sunday in between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl because the NFL wanted to have football on the day or the Sunday rather between games to keep people engaged. But in doing so, I think it really, changed a lot of things because you think about it. Typically, with the Pro Bowl, usually the teams that are in the Super Bowl usually combine for at least 10 guys that are playing in the Pro Bowl. And yes, a lot of guys that would play in the Super Bowl, would go on to Hawaii the following week to play in the Pro Bowl. Why? Because some people could say, yo, it was a badge of honor, if you were selected to the Pro Bowl to go out there and play. Also, for me, it was more about bragging rights as well, because those guys, you got a lot of alpha males. They want to be the envy of their respective peers. And, they could come in and get their congratulations and get their props for being a part of a Super Bowl champion. But nonetheless, those guys went out there and they played hard. I think back to the likes of Ronnie Lott, to the likes of Jack Lambert, who was still going out there and looking to lay opponents out in the Pro Bowl. I think about Jack Lambert, pardon me, not Jack Lambert, Jack Youngblood, back in 1979 for the Rams. He suffered that fracture in his ankle in the divisional round against the Cowboys. Came back, played in the NFC Championship game against the Bucks, played in Super Bowl 14 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then the following week went to Hawaii and played in the Pro Bowl. Guys nowadays, I understand it. Okay, I'm not going to sit up here and try to like get on their case. I get it. They're worried about injuries, worried about their long term health. I get it, but it's just taken away from the game. And I think the NFL has tried to save and salvage this thing with the Pro Bowl games. It's been traveling around from place to place. Now we're basically having this thing in convention centers or bingo halls, whatever, they had it last night. And to me, I just think that this thing is not working. I think what the NFL would be better off doing, do away with this flag football game. If you want to go out there and keep on selecting guys, for the Pro Bowl, I have no problem with that, because, it's one of those, some of these guys, they have the incentive clauses in their respective contracts. If they get selected to the Pro Bowl, that they get bonus money. So you know what? Keep going out there with those Pro Bowl nods. If you're not going to play the game and you're going to turn it into the flag football fest that it is right now, you know what? Bring back, when I say some of the skills competitions, I want to take it back to the old days when we had the quarterback challenge. Anybody who's old enough to remember, when the guys on the motorized carts were driving around on the field, quarterbacks were trying to test their accuracy. Quarterbacks were testing to see who could throw the football the farthest, things of that nature. I remember in those days, we also had the fastest man competition in the NFL. Also, the strongest lineman. Okay, you saw linemen, offensive and defensive linemen, going out there to see, who was the strongest, and it was legit competition. People would be interested in that, in my opinion. But nonetheless, not this flag football fest that they have going on, and they're trying to sell it as football. It's not working. And also, the fact that so many people have dropped out of the Pro Bowl or dropped out of the Pro Bowl this year. It's one of those where it diminishes it even more, because your top players, your top stars are not there, and you basically are having some guys who just benefited from being on an NFL roster this year to turn around and say, "Hey, I was a Pro Bowler," and that's not the way it works. The Pro Bowl, like any other All Star game, is all about the best of the best, and we have not been seeing the best of the best compete in this game for a very long time. So, with that said, what's it going to take for the NFL to eventually pull the plug on the concept of the Pro Bowl altogether and simply stop reshuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic? Well, here's my thing. I think as long as television networks are willing to pony up some bread, um, that the NFL is going to go out there and try to piece it together. You do genuinely see excitement from the guys in flag football, this, that, and the third. I totally get it. There's more fan interaction. So I think the NFL is going to continuously try to adjust and fix this thing for as long as they can. But nonetheless, for me at least, I think they should just scrap this thing. I think, like I said before, to simply give guys the Pro Bowl nod, maybe, just have the skills competition, not even the flag football. Just do the skills competition as far as your fastest, as far as your strongest, as far as the most accurate quarterback. things of that nature, and simply call it a day. But to call it the Pro Bowl games, it's clearly not the Pro Bowl, okay? And it's I can't even say that it's a microcosm of what it once was, because this was once a legit game. This was once a very proud moment for the National Football League, and the Pro Bowl games, whatever you want to call it, like a lot of All-Star games, whether it's MLB or NBA, say what you want, it has flat out become a joke, and it is flat out embarrassing. And let's see what the NFL is going to do next to try to salvage this thing. But folks, that's going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast. And if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button, as well as subscribing to this channel. And like I always say, it's greatly appreciated. And if you have already subscribed, please feel free to tell a friend, family member, whomever about it. The love is always appreciated. And for all you football buffs out there, you do not want to miss my Super Bowl 60 preview this Friday evening. Definitely check it out. It's one of those for me. Who's going to win? Is it going to be Seattle, or is it going to be New England? We got to wait and see, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that subject as well. DJ Sackfly, my man, as always, appreciate the support, appreciate the love, and we will definitely be in touch on the short real soon. For all you folks out there, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check me out anytime at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you give me that follow, it'll be my pleasure to do the same in return. And that also goes for Instagram, where you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, if you are on Facebook, definitely be sure to check out the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports groups going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.